Today we're doing episode 107 of the Deep Dive. I'm going to continue on Jude. We're going to be talking about Cain and that whole thing with Abel. And Dester's going to be talking more about music. So we'll see how it goes. Episode 107.
Hey, Jude.
Hey, Jude.
Hey, Jude.
Yes.
So that goes off in my head every time.
Right.
Every time you say Jude. Hey, Jude, don't say it, Destry, don't say it. But I had to that time.
That's all right.
Hey, I want to start talking about something that is, I don't know why. It happened last night, has nothing to do with music, has nothing to do with the Bible. Mm-hmm. I was headed to our class, starts at 6:30. Almost across town from me, and I have to go through one of the major intersections in Pensacola. What is it? W and Cervantes. Yeah. And I was probably 25 cars back from a arrow turning left, and I noticed whenever I was driving up to that intersection, two police cars back to back. They were just so tight, flying by. So I knew something was going on up there. So this just happened. So we got up there, and I got about 25 cars back, and I just saw 15, 20 first responders in the middle of that intersection. So I knew something major happened, right? And it was to the point where people that were in line were making a decision to get out of line and turn around and go backwards because it was very tight. Or stay in line, and I sat there for a while, and I was running late. I would have been there about 15 minutes early. I ended up getting there about 5 minutes late, something like that. So I was way back, and I noticed I know the roads over there enough to know all the alternative ways to get to church, and I thought, man, if I go this way, and it's gonna be hard to get out there. It's just gonna get us back in that traffic. So I just sat there, and traffic started moving. Oh, cool, we're good. And I got to about 10th in line, and then it shut down, man. Nobody was moving. You know what I mean? It was one of those, okay, I'm going to make it on time. And I get there, nobody's moving because I think what they had to do is extract a body.
Yeah.
Because we got out of church last night, and it was still blocked off, and I noticed, thinking in retrospect, it's the first time that I've seen a scene like that where they were flying a drone.
Right.
I sat there and I watched the drone fly back and forth over. And it was obviously part of the first responders because it was going up and down and all over. There's no way somebody could have been flying a drone.
Scanning.
Yeah, they were scanning what was going on. And I'm guessing that they do that now. And I thought, well, what a great, unfortunate circumstance, no doubt about it. But what a great way to use technology to really find out what happened. I'm assuming they're scanning, and it's going to be a 360 degree, whatever they're using. That's just going to be something else that the family is going to be able to use to find out what happened,
right?
To the loved one. And I haven't read anything or heard. Have y'all read or heard anything about it?
I was actually just trying to look it up right now.
Okay.
Actually, we were supposed to meet some people last night at this person's house.
Yeah.
And they text and says, stuck behind bad wreck on W Street.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it.
That was the one. I mean, this is a really big intersection. The whole intersection was stopped. Only 1-2 cars going at a time. Cause I never saw any cars or anything because whenever we passed by, it was so tight that you couldn't do anything but pay attention to what you were doing. You know what I mean? There was no room for rubbernecking, in other words.
Yeah. No, I can't find anything about it.
Okay.
Just with a real quick search on my phone. Was it? Oh no, this isn't it. That's 2 weeks ago. Anyway, the weird thing is, after church got out, all the traffic was blocked on W and Beverly. Just a couple blocks down from the church, and there's a huge accident there between like a motorcycle and a vehicle or whatever.
Is that right?
And I think the motorcycle motorcycle guy ended up dying in that, I think. But everybody had to take a detour. Now they got to that intersection. So like right on W Street in two places yesterday.
Wow, unbelievable.
Within like an hour of each other.
Right. It's it reminds you, man, things can change so quickly. I mean, I know we all go through that intersection almost every day. Oh, yeah. We all live kind of close together, so I'm assuming you all go through that a couple times
W
a day.
Street is probably one of the main cut throughs of everything in Pensacola.
Yeah,
right.
It's there.
It goes straight.
I go through that intersection at least twice a day.
Yeah, gotcha. And it can be scary.
It's been a weird week for that too, because just a couple days ago, there's video cam footage, or body cam footage rather, of a wreck up in Cantonment where two people crashed, and then there's one guy who was out there trying to direct traffic. One guy didn't really want to do what that guy said, and a fight ended up breaking out.
No kidding.
Like two people who weren't involved in the original accident are standing out on the road, punching each other in the face because. So there was that, and then on my way to work the other day, I'm going down Massachusetts Ave, and I see some blue lights flashing up ahead. So me and the other cars ahead of me, we get off the side of the road. And the police turn into a subdivision right in front of us, and as they're turning in, this black like Dodge Charger or something like that turns out, and all the police cars are chasing him.
Oh boy!
And they're doing that pit maneuver where they hit the back bumper, try to make him lose control before he gets to the pack of cars that I'm in. And
you're watching this in your mirror.
No, I'm watching this right in front of me.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, like he's coming. They're all coming my direction.
Gotcha. Okay.
They hit him from the back, and he like swerves and goes across my lane into the grass. Ahead of me and like two other cars who had pulled over, and so as he's going into the grass, the other sheriff's cars is coming around, going the other way and like bashing him from the front, and one's bashing him from the back. They're boxing him in, and before you know it. The doors all fly open, cops are coming out, guns drawn, all this stuff. And I'm just sitting there in my car like,
is this really happening?
I'm just going to back up.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to turn around and go the other way. I'm just going to go a different way to work today.
Man, Josh, I'm telling you, man, if the police shows that I sometimes watch are true, and these are realistic shows, it's not uncommon for a pit maneuver to end up involving witnesses, involving people that aren't involved, because the cops are saying, okay,
trying to minimize damage.
Exactly. And you might be the damage.
Right.
I've seen it happen on a highway, and dude, that car got pitted and it went off the other side and smashed big time into the other cars, and those cars are spinning. You imagine just sitting there, and then your car just does that.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them for doing that. I'm just saying, if you're that close, it's a likelihood that you could be involved in
That's
that.
my luck. I'm just driving to work, minding my own business. All of a sudden,
right?
I'm spinning in midair.
Y'all fuss at me for not leaving my house.
Right?
To see that on TV is one thing. To see it in real life, wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty traumatic, I would imagine.
Yep.
It's funny, when we're driving, J-Dell does not call this Pensacola. She actually calls this Weaverville, except nobody ever completes a basket.
But yeah, it's been a strange week for sure.
Yeah, it has. We had a good class last night, though. That was good. It ended up,
you were back for the first time in a couple of weeks. That was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to be back and prepared and talking about prepping for the third class, and it was good. One thing I've learned about that is just to have seven. If you don't have anything else, have 7 days worth of stuff. So I think that's a good start, right? Having 7 days worth of water, food,
right,
power, money, whatever it is. And that's another thing we talked about, money last night, having a cash, a bunch of cash with you. But then we all started a discussion, if everything's closed down. Cash can't even be used most of the time. You know what I mean? People are not making transactions if electricity goes out.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you have cash. But I guess if it gets bad enough, you can trade cash for ammo. Trade it's just a commodity.
Yeah.
It's just another commodity, right?
Right.
Well, back in Sally, when we had in 2020, we had the McDonald's, or they weren't, due to COVID, they weren't taking cash, not taking cash. Sally hit, no computers, no internet, no connectivity, but they were open because they had a generator. They had to take cash.
Okay.
They had a generator, they could run their unit and they could feed people. And that's what we went to the now defunct Denny's, which was up on 9 Mile Road. They were open and it was cash only, and so you could go in, you could get breakfast.
Yeah.
But you had to have cash.
So that will be the first thing that comes back online is having cash.
Right.
So it's no matter what, that is a good thing to have.
Yeah, and sometimes like the level of emergency doesn't dip below cash.
Right.
That's usually pretty rare.
If the Waffle House is closed,
we're
all about to die.
Right then, we'll be thankful there's 20 Waffle Houses on,
Right.
on every road. But it was a good class. A lot of people had some thoughts and ideas to share, and that's really, our class, Josh, is any kind of Wednesday class is a lot like Sunday. I think that it's all highlights. You do a good job of going deep into Scripture, but the stuff that I teach, we can do it week after week after week, but I look at it as like a highlight. I present something and go, you have to look into this yourself and see what you decide to do. Example, when are you going to leave? If there's a hurricane coming, when are you going to leave, right?
I took that way wrong.
What did you say?
When you get to class, I like to talk. When are you going to leave?
I've been waiting for you specifically to leave.
Get out.
For months.
I don't really care for the people in my class.
Well, so that's something that there's no perfect formula for that. You just have to make up your mind, but do it ahead of time.
Right.
Don't wait. And I told everybody last night, Don and I, we're not proud. We're out of here. We got a place to go, and we go. We most of the time we will go before mandatory evacuations. My brother doesn't do that. My brother sticks around, and I just like, what do you plan on doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have any. I don't have any authority to stick around and go, I'm going to protect my house. I don't care about the house. I'll take my cat, my wife, my mother-in-law, and we're gone, and we'll come back to what the house is, and then I'll protect it. But I just don't want to take any chances. But that's my mindset. Might not be yours. But whatever it is, implement it and plan for that.
Right.
know? So anyway, So think about that. That's my point. Just think about. That's what we tell our students, is just to think about that ahead of time. And those with families and kids, their formula might be totally different than ours. We don't have kids. We got one cat now, so it's easy to and go.
Yeah.
So that's what we would do. And having a good, safe place to go, that makes all the difference in the world, too. So, anyway. I want to talk about JT today. If I say JT, who do you think of? Entertainment.
James Taylor?
Because you're as old as I am.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas?
No.
From Home Improvement?
James Taylor is, if you're 60 or even around that, you're going to think James Taylor. I think I don't know, I'm just guessing. If you're 10 years younger, 20 years younger, Justin
I know who you're
Timberlake.
talking about, yeah.
Justin Timberlake is JT.
I forgot you texted me about him this past week.
JT and the Tennessee Guys, I think. JT and the Tennessee Band, I think is the name of his band. And there's something about JT that has always piqued my interest.
It's because you were a fan of NSYNC?
Was not. Was not a fan of any of the boy bands except for the Beatles. love the Beatles. He was born in Memphis, and I was born in Memphis. That's one thing. He was born in 1981, the year before I graduated high school. But the first time I saw him, I went, man, there's something different about him. I don't know what it is. Because the genre of music that he does is something that I've never been that interested in. Very choreographed. Everything he does seems to be choreographed, even if it looks like he's just standing at the side of the stage and he makes a move. Everybody in the background's making that same move. Do you understand what I mean? It looks like he's just hanging out, and then he does something funky, and everybody does the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's all choreographed, but it's done in a really professional, really good production way. And he's got a good man. He is a white boy, but man, he can dance. I don't care if that's racial or not. He can dance really good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like he's trying that hard. You know what I mean? So I enjoy that. I enjoyed watching Michael Jackson dance. Man, she's a crow, man. Like it or not, you got to enjoy the athletic part of it. You know what I mean? And Justin Timberlake is like that. I think he's very athletic and takes care of himself and writes most of his stuff. He plays, how many instruments does he play? 4 or 5 different types of instruments, and he'll play that throughout the concert. Keyboard, plays some drums, percussion, guitar, and something else. But he continues to evolve. I
think he plays the piano a little bit, doesn't he?
Plays keyboard, yeah. He sure does. Writes his music, sings all at the same time. That's pretty good.
Right.
No matter, I could put Lady Gaga in here, the name Lady Gaga, and it sounds like the same guy, same person. You know, they're very similar, if you ask me, in their talent pool. And I tend to like both of them, but then you got somebody like Crappy Bunny, is that his name?
Oh,
Stinky
the
Bunny.
Super Bowl guy, Bad Bunny. Yeah.
I haven't seen much of him. Is he this kind of the same way as far as choreographed and?
No,
is he not? Okay.
So we ranted about this I ranted about this quite a bit last week.
You sure did. It was a welcome rant, though.
Yeah, but so his Bad Bunny's style of music is some of the most vulgar content imaginable.
Right.
His choreography, from what I've seen since he did the Super Bowl thing, seems to be like, how can we like suggestively dance in a way that mirrors the vulgar lyrics that I'm singing.
Okay.
He's provocative shock music.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Like we're gonna do everything that we can't do in real life. We're going to do it in musical form and choreography, and that's kind of how it seems his style of music goes.
Okay,
which is why here again, all criticisms of the alternative Super Bowl halftime show aside, if you're going to compare 1-to-1, I think. If you're watching the Super Bowl and you're trying to minimize your exposure to really bad content, you're going to switch over to YouTube and watch the other one, or OAN or TBN, or different networks that the other one was on.
Okay,
gotcha. I don't think there's any question about that.
Okay,
and if there is, I don't know. I have some debates.
Well, earlier on, whenever I here I am. Watching YouTube and Justin Timberlake, my goodness, I mean, maybe thousands of videos. I don't know. Certainly hundreds and hundreds of Justin Timberlake. A lot of since he started with NSYNC in the 2000s, early 2000s. He's been in videos since then. So 26 years. His first, his latest single was released March 15th, 2024, called Everything I Thought It Was. And he's had, I think, 6 albums and many, many single hits, pop music, of course. what I like about his setup, I think he has about 15 people in his band and dancers. Has everything I like: horns, keyboard, really good horn section, man. It's not really a horn. It is a horn section, but it's like one flute, one trumpet, one trombone. One of each, and they highlight those frequently in songs, and I love that. To me, horns brings dynamics. It brings dynamics to music, and I love it when I see a musician having a shot to show their talent. And there's not a lot of horns around, not as much as they used to be. Anytime there's horns and woodwinds and things like that, I like to give music a shot. So his early solo era was 2002 to 2006. Cry Me a River was one of the songs. Rock Your Body, Everybody Loves. That's a good song. I like that. Sexy Back. I think of Chris whenever I think about that. My Love. Dominance. 2010s. Maris Sweet. Whatever. There's just song after song after song. And he either wrote or helped write most of them. The music and the words. So again, like Lady Gaga, just very, very talented. Keyboards, guitar, basic drum. He's part of the production as far as producing in the booth, the sound that he wants. He has a lot to do with that. Now check this out. He's been in 20 films. 20. That's a lot of music.
Have you seen any of them?
I've seen some of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen Trolls?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen. He's in that? He's in Trolls?
He voices one of the characters.
Oh, okay. Yes.
But it's hilarious.
I think he plays a serial killer in one movie.
Yeah,
I think he does. And I watched some of that. I haven't seen all of it. But 20 movies. Hey, listen, that's somebody's career.
Yeah, a lot of movies.
That's
I
a lot of movies.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, that's somebody's acting career. Yeah. Much less being a. Anyway, he's just got a resume like crazy. Notable movies, Social Network. So he was the star in Social Network, I believe. Friends with Benefits, In Time, Trouble with Curve, Inside Llewyn Davis, Trolls, Voice of Branch in 2016 in Trolls Band Together, 2023. So I guess there was 2 of those. Okay. The lead roles. Not just being in the movie, but lead roles was Social Network in 2010, Friends with Benefits 2011, In Time 2011, Runner 2013, Inside Llewyn Davis 2013, Trolls 16. That's 6 movies that he was a lead in. Again, that's just unbelievable, man.
So, question for you.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm interested in like how you got turned on to him and what made you stay watching him.
Just pure talent.
Okay.
Just pure talent. Looking at him sing and dance the way he does, number 1. 2, going, I'd like to learn more about Justin Timberlake. And then reading that he, all his talents that he puts into what he does, how hard he works at it, the dancing, the playing, the singing, the writing, the production, and the way he seems to treat the people that he works with. I really like that. I watched behind the episodes of, I think it was maybe 2020, or Suit and Tie, one of the films that went behind the tour. And at least on camera, like Lady Gaga, seems like he's just touring with friends. Seems to be very involved with others' families and I just like that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Is there any like specific performance that sticks out in your mind? Is like, this is the one I go back to and watch on YouTube every now and then?
Yeah, but it doesn't have anything to do with his talent. Okay. It's the one that he does with Jimmy Fallon, and they do the Bee Gees. Have you seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, gosh, that's so funny.
That's what I like about him is that he's hilarious.
He makes fun of himself and others, and they're... Whenever you have talent like Jimmy Fallon and he do, both of them are very good singers and guitar players and writers and everything, and they put that in comedy, there's nothing better.
Right.
There's nothing better.
One of my favorite things, and it's hard to find nowadays, but I sent you a link to it. It was a skit that Justin Timberlake did when he was hosting Saturday Night Live, where there were two restaurants. The guys,
the Eggman?
Yeah, the guys standing out the street advertising for the restaurants.
Yeah.
And he comes out, bring it on down to Omelettville. That was absolutely hilarious, and they've done a whole series of those.
Is that right?
Like
Okay.
different stores and everything. And it's always like whenever Justin Timberlake hosts Saturday Night Live, they usually do like another installment of this series.
Okay.
Like for Christmas, there's these shops that wrap your presents. And so bring it on down to Rappinville.
Okay, gotcha.
and there's one about two like smoothie shops or shake shops or whatever.
Right.
And his was vegan shakes.
Okay.
So bring it on down to Veganville.
And he's in a costume and he's always dancing and
Yeah, he always takes like popular songs at the time and does some sort of parody of them. Like the vegan shakes, that was back when the Harlem Shake was this big deal.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And so he drink a vegan shake, and everyone starts freaking out. It's hilarious because I think he's funny.
He's so funny. He is so good. And I mean, I feel bad for the guy because he married Jessica Biel. Mm-hmm. Do you know who that is?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got to feel bad for the guy. You know what I mean? She's an actress, and they married in 2012. They have 2 kids. She was known for being in Seventh Heaven and The Sinner, and she's been in several movies that.
It's funny watching them being interviewed together.
Is that right?
Yeah.
They play off each other real well.
Yep.
I've seen some movies, a couple of movies where she's been in. It's the thrillers or horror movies, and she plays the trying to get away, and then she turns into a strong character. Anyway, it can't be easy being married to her. Anyway, and I'm not gonna. I learned a little bit about some rumors and things, but I'm not gonna mess with those. Those aren't anything that we're interested in talking about. So he does write a large portion of his own music. He is a very creative person. He wrote songs like Cry Me a River, Mara's Sexy Back, Can't Stop the Feeling. And honestly, the Tennessee Kids, that's what it is. Justin Timberlake and Tennessee Kids.
Yeah.
A lot of the music sounds alike. You know what I mean? He has this very high voice. Some people say it's a head voice. It's not a voice that comes from the diaphragm. It comes from the head. But man, he sells it, man. He does a really, really good job of it. This morning I watched him on something called NPR. It was Tiny Desk. Have y'all ever heard
Tiny
of that?
Desk Concert. I've watched so many of those.
Man,
Yes.
that is such a great genre. It's so unique. I think, like I said, 12 or 15 people, and Chris, it's bigger than this room, but not much. As far as where the performers go, they have the biggest stars in history on that show. That, as far as I can tell,
Yeah.
I mean, everybody that's big,
Yeah, they've had people all the way up to Taylor Swift. Yeah.
just they're behind the desk. They are behind the desk, and it looks like it's really in the office of NPR, and the workers are behind the cameras, and the cameras are facing towards this one desk, and everybody is behind the desk. 15 people with keyboards, drums, guitars, horns. They are shoulder to shoulder.
Yep.
And sometimes they're overlapped, but they are, and it's clean. There's no huge production value. They are playing. He is singing, and it sounds perfect.
Yep.
It sounds perfect. I haven't seen many other. I've seen maybe one other, and it sounded just as good. But to be able to have that type of voice and to really be able to use it acoustically,
Right.
I think that's a lost art, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with the way he did that. And he was, again, he was back there. He couldn't dance very much, but he was moving around,
Yeah.
and it was all in the middle. Man, this guy's got rhythm.
Well, that's
too.
one of the things I like so much about those Tiny Desk concerts too, is because these big artists that are normally, you see them in this huge production
Yeah.
with pyrotechnics and lights and lasers and fog machines and all the choreography and all that stuff. And then they're confined to that little bitty space where oftentimes they have to do like a little intimate acoustic version of their most famous songs. Those are the ones I like way better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Usually, than the huge ones.
Right.
Yeah, I love those little concerts.
For people who have never been in a band or don't know much about music, I would suggest watching these. Watch the Justin Timberlake one, and you can pick up on the communication, the nonverbal communication with the band. You don't even have to know who the band leader is, and you will find out who the leader is. Like, Justin doesn't look at everybody. He does certain times, but he'll look at one guy. There's a keyboardist that's the main guy, and he'll communicate with him just by making eye contact.
Right.
And they've done this music so many times, they know exactly what that means. Are we going to go another frame? We're going to do another, closing. What are we going to do? And they'll look at each other, and that's what they do. And you can see it on film.
Yep.
I really like that. That was really cool to be able to say. And I watched for that. Even on big stages, because I know that happens, but it's different whenever you're just in the.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because, my musical preference, I tend more towards the acoustic and like bluegrass and things like that. It's really interesting when you watch bluegrass musicians. They have almost a different way of communicating with each other. It seems because instead of like. I don't know. It seems like when you're at that level, and bluegrass is meant for like two different phases where all the instruments are playing together at once, and then there are times when most of the instruments sort of dial it back a little bit so that one can be featured, like a mandolin solo or a guitar solo or something like that. And it's always fascinating to me to watch. Those types of musicians and performers communicate with each other in that too, because it's almost like they all know what's coming next because they can feel it, and there's not like a hard fast like, hey guys, it's my turn now. It's more like, well, this is where a mandolin normally fits.
Yeah.
So everybody just backs off, and the mandolin just like shreds it, and then everybody just kind of knows intuitively. This is the end of the mandolin solo, and everyone comes back in, and it's always really impressive. A lot of times, like, it's even accompanied by applause, because, like, man, you did that transition flawlessly.
Yeah,
Everybody did exactly what they were supposed to do at the exact time they're supposed to do it, and it was amazing. It is amazing.
You are describing the Grateful Dead.
Yes. Yeah.
You are absolutely describing how the Grateful Dead did much of their shows.
Yeah, it's almost like they all share one mind.
Yeah. And the communication between Bob Weir and Jerry Garcia really ran everything else. But the keyboardist and the drummer and bass player are looking at each other, and one of them are looking at somebody else, but they're all looking, taking the key off of Jerry Garcia and Bob Weir, and it is so cool to see that. Really, that if you learn to do that and watch that, it really enhances the quality of the music to me. I enjoy that so much. So let me read off a little list of some artists that he has collaborated with. Justin Timberlake, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Madonna, Rihanna, all these where I could care less about. I really don't even.
I know. I was like,
I know, but the names, you know what I mean. Yeah. Most people in pop music would really like that. I'm like, no. And so I'm actually surprised that I like, Justin Timberlake. But to me, I think he's a really cool dude.
I was surprised when you told me you liked Justin Timberlake.
Well, I'm a complicated guy. Let's see. And here's my favorite. You asked me, are there some performances that I go back to? Mm-hmm. The serious one is with Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Chris Stapleton? Oh, my gosh. If you've never heard of Chris Stapleton, you have got to listen to Chris Stapleton. You will not ever not be able to recognize his voice once you've heard it. He has a song called Tennessee Whiskey.
Yes. Yeah, and that's not his song either. That's an older song. It's an old song that he did a cover of. A lot of people have covered that one. It was a really good song. Yeah.
He made it his own though.
Oh yeah.
Chris Stapleton made it his own, and it came back to popularity with him and Justin Timberlake.
Yep.
And what I love about this collaboration is that this is Chris Stapleton's. It's his stage that Justin Timberlake is coming on.
Yeah.
So you can see Justin Timberlake in a different environment, and he shines in that stage, man. He's just a person that is meant to be out front,
right?
Even in the small desk series, he was getting everybody involved. He was drinking tea. You could tell he was tired. He said, "Man, it's early." That was the first thing he said after he got through singing. "Whoo, it's early." And he was drinking tea, and you could tell. But he was able to go up real high, and he just morphed into that leader, that front man. Like what's his name from Queen or whoever. Madonna or whoever, just the people that are just made to be on stage. He seems to be that kind of person.
Another actor that has a really good voice. She was also in one of the voices in Trolls. Her name left me all of a sudden. Anyway,
Sarah, Tom, Bob.
It's Bob. Yeah,
Harry.
Her name is Bob.
Yep.
No, but the two of them sang a song from Trolls, which is a cover. I see your true colors shining through true colors. And they
Cyndi
did,
Lauper.
What?
Cyndi Lauper.
Well, yeah, she was the one who originally did the song, but the Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick, that was her name.
Yeah.
They did a cover of that song.
Another
live.
person who has surprisingly good voice.
Yes.
Jeez, really?
And it was just him with an acoustic guitar and their two voices singing that song, and it was amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's our favorite.
Super good harmonies.
Yeah, that's good. There are a lot of actors and actresses that can dance and sing, and that's just part of who they are. Growing up, they've done all those things. And Anna Kendrick is funny as she is. I heard her sing the first time I heard her sing. Went, wow, and she was doing it in a comic way.
Right.
I think she was on a comedy show or something, and she was imitating somebody or whatever. Man, what great talent. Anyway, so Justin Timberlake, I enjoy him, and I did a little bit of research on his faith. He grew up in the Bible Belt, so he grew up in a Bible-believing Christian home. That's how much that I've been able to learn. Other than that, there's been no of late mention of him being an artist that's a Christian, or he's certainly not a Christian artist, but an artist that's a Christian. And some songs will mention things. Now, I'll tell you this: I saw him pray with his group before they went on stage during that show that I saw.
Yeah.
So all 15 people got around the stage. They held hands and they bowed their head and they prayed. And listen, I love that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So he at least has that in his heart to be able to have the wherewithal and the desire to do that. And I applaud him for that. So
he has a cross tattoo, so
Well, come on. I'm going to get a cross tattoo starting here, going down there. I just want my face to be known. I don't want to behave like a Christian.
In Hollywood, they're Christian if they have a cross tattoo or a cross necklace.
That's right.
Or maybe a cross earring or two. That's how you know you're the real deal.
Well, that's fine. I guess he is tatted up, isn't he? He's got many tattoos. I don't know. I didn't research. I didn't Google Justin Timberlake shirtless. I just didn't feel the need to. I've got enough posters on my wall of him shirtless. I don't need to.
Yeah. That checks out.
I borrowed them from Chris. He's good. He got tired. he put Dumb Bunny up on his wall instead of took Justin Timberlake down.
Chris has been took one of his posters down from his collection of all the boy bands of the 90s. 98 Degrees, NSYNC.
God, I hated that time in music, man. Oh, man, there's a new boy band coming out every day, it seemed like. God.
See, now the big thing, though, is not the boy bands. It's the K-pop in Korea, which is all the girl bands.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
So
some of them are boy bands, but it's a little bit difficult to tell.
Most of them are girls.
Yeah.
At my mother's in-law's house, it's Japanese TV going on all the time, right? HKS is service you have to pay for. And I wish we could all go over there one day and just turn the TV on to the entertainment. Y'all would feel like we have gone back 30 years. Sequins, boy band, girl band, all of them Japanese, singing their hearts out. None of them can sing a lick. And they are all just getting it and dancing. And I'm like, Donna, is this current? I used to take video of it and send it to my buddy Kent and said, this is what we have over here in Pensacola. It's so funny. But they're so polite in Japan that everybody always claps, even if they stink. They always clap, yay. And I think they really applaud the effort instead of the talent necessarily. But it's quite funny. Boy bands and girl bands. That's what made me think of it. There's a lot of girl bands doing that in Japan, 2 to 4 to 6, and they're all sequined up, and not just sequins, but just costumes. Bright.
It's big in Korea, big in Japan. One of the funny things was, I remember we saw the videos of Elvis going in the army.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, they had some K-pop Korean guy was pulled up this. I was scrolling through videos. So and so goes in the army. I was like, okay, and he was one of their he's way up there in that thing, and he was going in the army, and there were thousands of people out there crying that he was going to be. Yeah, wow. He was going to be gone for 2 years of minimum service or whatever. Oh my goodness! And then they showed a video later on where, because his service was done, that he got out, and there were thousands of people that are welcoming him back to come back to the thing. I was like, okay.
What does K-pop? You know what it stands for?
Korean pop.
Korean pop. Okay, yeah. Okay, that's what it is. K-pop. I got you.
So three things to look up for Justin Timberlake.
All right.
If you haven't seen these performances already, but the movie Trolls.
Yes.
He's not in it as a person. He's one of the voices. But if you knowing whose character is voiced by Justin Timberlake and listening to what he does with that voice is pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then the music video "Can't Stop the Feeling," which comes from Trolls. But then there's a clip on YouTube of Justin Timberlake, Jessica Biel, and Jimmy Fallon playing the Best Friends Challenge.
I saw a little bit of that.
That's
was just
hilarious.
A clip. Okay.
Yeah.
But they got to figure out who knows Justin Timberlake best.
Yeah, because Justin and Jimmy are really good friends in real life,
right?
And obviously he's married to Jessica Biel, so they're all asking Justin these questions and saying who gets the most right, Jessica or Jimmy.
Okay.
And so it's a funny clip. Yeah,
I'll look that up. They put her on film. I don't know why they do that.
Actually, the movie you want to watch her in is an older movie. It's The Illusionist.
The Illusionist.
Oh,
that's a good movie. It's one of those that's you're sitting there going, wait a minute, what just happened? And I usually can pick up on plots of movies. 80-90% of the time, I'm like, that's coming. This is going to happen. This is going to do. Yeah. And this one, I'm sitting there going,
really? It caught you off guard?
The whole movie caught me off guard.
Okay, cool. Illusionist.
Yeah, The Illusionist.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Well, that's Justin Timberlake. And,
all right.
I'm a fan, and I'll continue to listen. I'll need to get some more. This is the CD, the 2020 Experience that I've been listening to, and it's good. It's a lot of I would love to hear him do acoustic stuff. And there could be a CD out of him or some music. I don't know, but I'd love to hear him do that with people like Anna Kendrick or whomever, you know, and do covers or do some of his songs, whatever. I would listen to that. I certainly would. So there you go.
Alrighty. Well,
what y'all want to do now?
How do we transition from that to Jude?
Hey, let me ask you something.
Yes.
How did you watch the alternative Super Bowl show, and how was that?
Oh, I watched it on YouTube. You
watched it on YouTube.
Yeah.
Do you know how it was initially done live? How it was?
From what I didn't watch it live. I watched it the next day, but from what I understand, it was on the network OAN.
OAN.
I don't know what that stands for.
Is it OAN?
Is it OWN or OAN?
Oh, I read it was OAN. I was
Ion.
trying to figure out what.
Is it ION? Ion.
No, OAN.
Okay,
Hold on, let me
OAN.
see. OAN
Okay.
Network.
OAN. This was a question that
One American News Network.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a question that
That's
Donna
like the
asked.
it's like the conservative cable news channel.
Okay.
It's like there's like CNN, Fox, OAN,
Okay.
and then way down there you have like InfoWars.
Okay. All right. Well, Donna asked me that question. I wasn't able to answer that for her. So.
It was also I think it was aired on Trinity Broadcasting Network.
Okay, there you go.
You know, the Paul and Jan Crouch
Yes.
network.
Okay. Makes good sense.
Yeah. I don't know. I watched it on YouTube the next day. Both of them.
Right.
The Bad Bunny one and the Kid Rock one.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Yep.
All right. Question answered.
Yeah. So anyway,
Daniel,
Jude.
Jude. Hey, Jude.
Yeah, that could have been a segue.
Yeah.
You know who also sings good songs? The Beatles. And they
Jude.
sang Hey Jude. Speaking of Jude.
Cut that in there, will you, Chris?
Yeah.
I think it's been done for me.
So, last night, I think we were on our 7th or 8th installment of the book of Jude. And my goodness, Jude is just packed with stuff.
So short. So.
I know, it's so short. It's like the most concentrated book,
Yeah.
it seems, in the New Testament. But obviously, as we've been talking about it, Jude, his whole premise is we need to contend for the faith because our faith is being corrupted by people who are coming in and the words Jude uses, changing the grace of God into lasciviousness. And we've talked about what that means in the past. He gives examples of these people who are doing this. And or he gives examples from history of like these are the characteristics you want to look for, and he gives 3 examples: the rebellion of the Israelites, the rebellion of the angels, that sinned, the rebellion of Sodom and Gomorrah, and then there's like this little transition where he talks about this argument between Satan and Michael the archangel over the body of Moses. And we talked about that last week. And that little transition bridges over into the next 3 examples, which are Cain, Balaam, and Korah. And in that transition, he says, the previous 3, they're filthy dreamers. They defiled the flesh. They despised dominion. They spoke evil of dignitaries. These next 3, and he said, jumping off of that, speaking evil of dignities, he said, even Michael the archangel, when he was fighting with Satan about the body of Moses, he didn't rebuke Satan himself. He said, "The Lord rebuke thee." But these people, they speak evil of things they don't even understand, that they know not. In other words, like these first 3 examples, they spoke evil of dignities. These guys speak evil of things they don't even understand. And he starts going into those examples of Cain, Balaam, and Korah. And so last night and today we'll talk about Cain, because what was it about Cain where he was speaking evil of something he didn't understand? He spoke evil of that which he knew not. And it continues on. It said, but what they know naturally as brute beasts, they defile themselves. So we have to go back to Genesis and sort of get overall the context of what Cain went through, because we all know the account of Cain killing Abel and God rejecting his sacrifice, and then Cain getting exiled from the rest of the people and all this stuff. But when we get deeper than just that casual overall view of it, this starts to make more sense. So this is Genesis 3. And in verse 14, the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon the belly thou shalt thou go, and dust thou shalt eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Now, anyone who's spent any significant amount of time in Scripture has encountered this as one of the key verses of the entire Bible, because this kind of lays out the fact that there is going to be a spiritual battle waging in the background for the rest of time, and until finally God ends it all. But he says, I'm going to put enmity between the serpent's seed and the woman's seed. And it's kind of a weird term to say, because we don't normally associate woman with seed. Right? It's usually the man's seed, the woman's child. But this is one of those subtle allusions to the fact that there's going to be something different about who this is referring to when it comes to how he's born, how he's conceived, all that kind of stuff. It's an allusion to in the future there's going to be a virgin birth that takes place. But anyway, it goes on. Unto the woman he said, I'll greatly multiply thy sorrow, thy conception, and sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Thy desire shall be to thy husband, he shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened to the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake, and sorrow shalt thou eat it all the days of thy life. Thorns, and he starts describing what this new corrupted world is going to be like. And so we get down to verse 21 of Genesis 3, and it says, unto Adam also and to his wife did the Lord God make coats of skin and clothe them. Because remember, when they sinned, they realized, the Bible said, like prior to their sin, they were clothed in light. Once they sinned, that went away. They realized they were naked, and they made clothes for themselves out of fig leaves. They made their own. They made their own garments to cover their sin. Right here, it says God made coats of skins and clothed them. So there's two things there. God's the one who did it, and it was made out of skins. So something had to die to cover the fact that they had sinned. And that's key, because when we're looking at salvation, it's nothing that we do, it's everything that God does. And sin requires death. Sin requires the shedding of blood. Hebrews 9 talks about that. It says, most of the things in the Old Testament were cleansed by blood. Temple was cleansed by blood. The mercy seat was sprinkled with blood. Atonement happened because blood was shed. The Passover, blood was shed. They put the blood on the doorpost, all that kind of stuff. And the author of Hebrews brings all that together and concludes, without the shedding of blood, there is no remission for sins. And so we see that starting to take shape here already in the garden, because God made them coats of skins and clothed them. And the Lord God said, this is verse 22, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand and take also the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord God sent him forth from the Garden of Eden to till the ground from whence he was taken. So notice the subtleties here. Verse 24, it even continues, says, so he drove out the man and placed at the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. So here again, notice the subtleties here. The Garden of Eden the gate to the Garden of Eden faces east. He sends man out of it, and he places at the gate two cherubim to guard to guard the way back in, so that no one could come back into the garden. And why was that even a thing? Well, the garden is where the presence of God, the presence of God in our earth intersected at the Garden of Eden. That's where they walked with God in the cool of the evening. They communed with God in the garden. And so that's where his presence was. And now they were they were restricted to the outside of that, and at the entrance, the eastern, which faced east, were two cherubim. Now think about the text of this, and when humanity started reading this book that we're reading, Israel is at the base of Mount Sinai. They're starting to put together the tabernacle for the first year and a half or whatever of being outside of Egypt. And hot off the presses, Moses is starting to produce these books. And so while they're building the tabernacle, they're reading the narrative of Genesis. And in the tabernacle, there's this room where the presence of God dwells. And man's not allowed in there because man is sinful. And this tabernacle that they're building, whenever they set it up, as they're moving through the wilderness, the entrance to this tabernacle faces east. And at the boundary between the rest of the world and the most holy place where the presence of God dwells is this huge curtain that has woven into it images of cherubim. So they're building this physical model representing the narrative that they're reading in Genesis. And so when we read in Genesis, when we pick it up in chapter 4, the next chapter, we read this. Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I've gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of the sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. Now, nothing is wrong with either of those. God told man that he was going to be tilling the ground for his food. In fact, mankind was only supposed to eat plants at this time. God didn't condone the eating of meat until after the flood. So that begs the question, well, why is Abel a keeper of sheep? Maybe it was for clothing. Maybe it was for, you can't say it was for food because they weren't supposed to be eating meat at this time. So it was either for clothing, or maybe it was for what's happening in the next verse. In the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to the Lord, and Abel he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. So there's obviously been something that mandated sacrifices have to be made. We already see that to cover their nakedness, God killed something and made them coats of skins. But here we also see that offerings are being brought unto the Lord. Well, where is the presence of God? It's in the garden. They can't come to the garden. So where are they bringing it? They're bringing it most likely to this entrance that they're not allowed to pass through. Kind of like the sacrifices in the tabernacle and temple. Nobody except the high priest, who's a representation of Christ, is allowed past that curtain. Sacrifices are brought to the curtain. And that's the same thing that's happening here. Well, what was the difference between Cain and Abel? Like Cain, he wasn't rejecting God. He believed it. He believed that God exists. It's kind of hard not to at this point. He was a tiller of the ground. That's not bad. People had to, grow food. So what was the deal? It was the fact that God didn't respect his sacrifice because there was no shedding of blood. It's only by the shedding of blood is there remission of sins. So Abel's sacrifice, it says God had respect for his sacrifice, but didn't have respect for Cain's sacrifice. And so when Jude is talking about this, he said that the way of Cain is speaking evil of things you don't even understand. Cain, by bringing something that did not incorporate the shedding of blood, was basically, almost trying to bribe God. Like his own works is what he was bringing to God, not the shedding of innocent blood. And so we see that that contrast there between the shedding of blood being remission of sin, resulting in the remission of sins, and works being the attempt at remission of sins. And the Bible's clear, works doesn't do it. All of our righteousnesses are as filthy rags. And so that's what Jude's alluding to, is he was speaking evil of something he didn't even understand yet. And that's a characteristic of these people who are coming into our Christian circles, and they're purposefully corrupting the gospel message of Christ because they don't even understand what they're doing. It's something it's a tool so insidious that Satan is using that these people don't even realize the extent to which they're being used as a pawn of our enemy. And so I think it's kind of neat to see how that all works together over the arc of Scripture.
I was wondering, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
I was wondering if are we talking about people, and you just answered it, are we talking about people that know they go in intentionally trying to bastardize the Scripture, or they're being used and they don't know they're being used?
It's both. Yeah,
it's both, right?
Yeah, because the previous three examples, they spoke evil of dignities. These three examples, they speak evil of something they don't even understand.
Okay. Wow. This is a very insightful. We've talked about this before. We got to look at ourselves,
right?
I mean, I think any time that we're reading Scripture, we have to look at ourselves and see what responsibility do I have?
Yeah.
What am I doing that might be causing what we're reading about?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the rest of that verse, it speaks evil of things that they know not, but what they do know is brute beasts, in that they corrupt themselves. Like the example in our lives would be, are we fully relying on God, or is there some component of our message to either each other or the outside world that says, I can take matters into my own hand, and I can step in the place of God, and I can accomplish what otherwise would be God's role to accomplish. Because that's what Cain was doing, is I'm growing this. This is the results of my labor. I'm presenting my labor as this sacrifice. Gotcha. It wasn't the shedding of innocent blood. Because that's the mechanism of salvation, is something that's innocent dies for something that's guilty.
Right.
And so, these in that context of salvation, we can see how it applies. But in the context of just our everyday walk with God, are we trying to put ourselves in the place of God and taking on His role in the things in our lives? And are we communicating that same idea to the people around us? And that's the dangerous part of it.
Gotcha. All right, Josh, thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate it very much. Chris, thanks. Anything else y'all want to put on the table here?
I'm a little bit out of breath.
Yeah, that was a long, meaty Bible study there for sure. Thank y'all, everybody. Don, I love you, and hopefully we'll see everybody next week for 108. Talk to y'all later. Bye.